Hi, it's Friday, June the 26th. This is Wes Fryer, and we're here in Washington, D.C. at the Air and Space Museum. And Alexander and I were excited to come first to this area, which is new to us. We were last here in March of 2008, and this is an exhibit for the UAV, or the Unmanned Aerial Vehicles, which are piloted by pilots who are on the ground. Basically like controlling a video game using a joystick and other controllers to be able to control the UAVs. So behind me is the Predator, which is the main UAV that I have heard of. I'm not positive what they're doing now, but I have visited with some pilots who have been assigned to the UAV program who actually flew these Predators out of Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas. And we're talking about UAVs flying on global missions, around the world, principally in the Middle East at this point, in Iraq as well as Afghanistan, but being able to be controlled actually from the ground in Las Vegas. So the Predator is, I think it said, was one of the first UAVs, or the first to test the Hellfire missile. And if you think about the history of warfare, from attack as well as reconnaissance, it's really a huge deal to be able to send aircraft over enemy airspace without putting a pilot actually at risk. If you think about the beginnings of reconnaissance in the 1950s when Gary Powers was shot down over Russia and the whole international incident that caused, being able to have reconnaissance capabilities, without threatening pilots' lives has been around since we've had satellites and the ability to be able to see from space, but being able to put in an aircraft that can penetrate at varying altitudes and not risk pilots' lives is really a big deal. When the UAVs were originally developed, I understand it was not developed initially as an attack capability, but now as you kind of read all the descriptions of these different aircraft, most of these are utilized not only for reconnaissance or taking photographs, but also for attack. The aircraft which you see above us, what did they say, the Dark Star? One of the things I thought was fascinating about it was when it was acquired by the Smithsonian, both the inlet and the exhaust ports were covered and sealed because their design was classified, and so they didn't want anyone to be able to come here and identify the design and engineering characteristics of that. And that's pretty interesting after just being at the Spy Museum yesterday and thinking about, of course, how there are many, many spies around, and being able to observe aircraft like this isn't just interesting for tourists, it's also interesting for foreign governments and military intelligence personnel who are interested in gathering more information about these kinds of designs. The last one that we'll take a look at down here below is called the X-45A, and it was jointly designed with Boeing, DARPA, NASA, and the Air Force, and it was designed as the first aircraft to be able to deliver weapons, and it has two internal weapons bays. And Alexander, if you just go ahead and pan around, you can see, comparing the X-45 to the Predator, the Dark Star up here above looks a lot more stealth-like, so lots of different designs. And then over here we've got an aircraft that's much, much smaller, and then if you look down below, you've got another one with a twin tail design. We'll finally just go ahead and walk over here to the small display of the Pioneer. And so this is the Pioneer, which is actually launched either by hand or with a bungee launch system, and it can be used by tactical field commanders to be able to gather intelligence. You can see over here there's a laptop computer that it attaches to, and it says that the full system is comprised of 3 different UAVs like this and their control equipment, so this can deploy out into the field. So it is just amazing to see how far this kind of technology has come. And again, this is a brand new part of the Smithsonian that was under construction when we were here in March of 2008, and it's pretty cool to get to see it. And I'm trying to remember the name of the movie we just watched. There's a movie, fictitious, about a artificial intelligence aircraft that is allowed to make decisions and it goes haywire. And while that particular movie certainly takes Monsters vs. Aliens, that's true, does have some of that kind of plot line. But there's another one that we watched that was involving real people. Do you remember what that is? No, it's about aircraft, and it's about unarmed military aircraft that have computers. Anyway, the point is there's actual factual basis to that, to the extent that the U.S. Air Force and U.S. military, as well as the military forces of other countries, are utilizing these kinds of unarmed aerial vehicles, not only for reconnaissance but also for attack. And it's interesting to see the evolution and the continued utilization of technologies to be employed in different ways, in this case to conduct military intelligence operations as well as military attack operations. So, adios from Air and Space.